grand opportunity to lick Princess Hibana's feet.
What's up? What's up? What's up?
Me too, Sputter. Me too.
My Avid anime addicts. Welcome back to another episode of
Anime Bunseki.
Of course, I'm your girl Sayer.
I'm Slow.
What's up? What's up? What's up?
And this is Butter.
And we are back with another episode of enen shouboutai,
Otherwise known as Fire Force. Remember to follow along our episodes reviews for Fire Force in a neatly organized playlist.
Fire Force Episode 4. Let's go!
What's up? What's up?
The episode begins with a lovely weather forecast for Tokyo from the Holy See. Good morning, Tokyo! Slow here, reporting from the Holy See, and it's a fiery hot day. If we take a look at the forecast, we can see all districts still on high spontaneous combustion alert, so stay inside and remember, sunblock won't help.
What's up? What's up?
So what really happened was, the forecast said that there'd be heavy rains in the 4th district. The next scene brings us to the 5th company. It's a busy contact center with a lot of chatter going back and forth as the company gets wind of an infernal appearance in the 8th company's territory.
We see a flower-eyed girl who, apart from being added to my top 10 waifu list, could only be the captain of the company, dictated by her unquestionable display of dominance. She's literally walking over everybody else, and these guys are enjoying being stepped on just a little bit too much.
Despite being out of her company's jurisdiction, the captain still decides to pursue the inferno. The episode takes a step back to show us the earlier events leading up to this.
Shinra and Captain Obi are watching a news report, and there is no mention of the incident at the Rookie Games or of Joker. Shinra asked if it could be the Fire Force hiding something, but this time, Obi remains silent, pondering the situation. Lieutenant Inawa enters the room and breaks the silence. He had returned with an analysis of Joker's ashes from the Rookie Games. The powder is revealed to be made from the ashes of Infernals.
There is a quick transition to Iris preparing for some ceremony in the cathedral as she looks at an old burnt picture of a young group of nuns.
Shortly after, we see Maki, Arthur, and Shinra working on a desk full of paperwork. And much like me at a desk job, Shinra completely spaces out, lost in thought, thinking about his little brother. The phone rings, and there's a request to save a dog from a tree. Maki suggests that Arthur and Shinra go handle it, but they interjected, saying it was a job for the regular firefighters, not the special fire force.
Maki offered to handle their share of paperwork, and they gladly accepted. The two get to the location, and the dog stuck in the tree is actually Mamoru, the dog-faced old man from 119.
After being rescued by Shinra, Mamoru explained what had happened. The mascots were handing out balloons when a group hurried him up a tree. This was due to backlash the Fire Defense Agency was getting from an ongoing case where a firefighter went on a killing spree, killing 4 people.
The firefighter in question is Setsu Miyamoto, and his verdict was currently being decided. But Mamoru hints that Miyamoto would probably be found not guilty for psychiatric reasons. Over at the courthouse, we get to see the verdict being decided.
Now, I'm not one to judge a book by its cover, but if this guy's face was on a book, the title would be Psychopath Serial Killer. Just look at that guy. Ugh.
But just like Mamoru predicted, he was found not guilty.
I'm wondering if the jury was looking at the same guy.
What's up? What's up?
Suddenly, Miyamoto spontaneously combusts and fire starts to consume him.
The public sees this as justice being delivered. the murderer being punished by the Great Soul. But unfortunately, it didn't turn out like that as Miyamoto starts to laugh, turning into an infernal.
But this was different. This infernal wasn't mindless. He seemed to maintain his sense of self. He was the same murderous psychopath. And he attacks the judge who had just passed his verdict as not guilty, killing him.
Word of the infernal quickly reached the 5th and 8th company. Both companies head out in pursuit of the infernal, though the 5th had a different agenda. Lieutenant Hinawa asked Maki where Shinra and Arthur were, but, she couldn't exactly say, "I sent them to rescue a dog from a tree," so instead, she denies knowing their whereabouts.
Shinra and Arthur are handing out balloons with the mascots when an alert notifies them of an emergency vehicle heading towards an infernal. The two then notice the matchbox of the 8th company and Lieutenant Hinawa on the speakers promising to severely punish them. Shinra rockets off to rendezvous with the matchbox, and Arthur gallantly hops on Shinra's back like a noble knight and his trustworthy steed, as 119 watched them blast off into the distance.
Sir Arthur and his noble steed Shinra soon catch up with the matchbox, and Hinawa gives them the details about the infernal and then tells them to go ahead. Back at the courthouse, Miyamoto was dragging his lawyer out, threatening to kill him, but Shinra and Arthur arrived just in time to save the lawyer. The boys easily overpower the infernal.
Miyamoto calls the Special Fire Force a murderous bunch of bogus helper men, then stated that he was jealous of their jobs. The rest of the 8th company catches up and are surprised to see a talking infernal who retained its human character. Maki throws a sputter comment at the infernal, but it was easily deflected.
Realizing that he was outnumbered, Miyamoto pretends to surrender, pleading that he's not guilty. But Hinawa is having absolutely none of it.
Realizing his bluff didn't work, Miyamoto throws a stream of fire at the group and makes his escape, announcing that he's gonna go around killing people the way the Fire Force kills infernals. Captain Obi tells Shinra to chase after him, but Shinra is conflicted after witnessing its self-awareness. Lieutenant Hinawa is the one that tells Shinra to pay no attention to the words of the infernal, and Shinra rockets off.
Miyamoto lands in Taitoku, a city in Tokyo, and civilians instantly flee at the sight of the infernal, but Shinra lands to stop him immediately. Shinra easily overpowers Miyamoto with a superhuman display of strength, kicking a car hundreds of feet into the air.
The 5th company are watching the fight from a distance, saying Shinra might be the real jackpot, but they can't allow the infernal to be killed. As Shinra moves to extinguish the infernal, it begs for a sister's prayer, and Shinra offers to spare its life until the rest of his team shows up.
Miyamoto tries to sneak attack, but Shinra stays ready, so he doesn't have to get ready. And the infernal got his arm kicked off, son. Just before Shinra has the chance to put him to rest, the 5th company interrupt the battle.
And the captain introduces herself, Princess Hibana, a 3rd-generation parakinetic. She tells Shinra to stand down, but Shinra refuses to take her orders, saying she wasn't his superior. Hibana suppresses him with her abilities, causing Shinra to fall to the ground.
Hibana called Shinra gravel and presented her foot, telling him to lick it. But Shinra, obviously not into foot fetishes, passes on the grand opportunity to lick Princess Hibana's feet. Me too, Sputter. Me too. Some guys have all the luck.
Sputter really needs to stop hanging around you.
Are you saying I'm being a bad influence to Sputter? Whoa, Sputter! Language!
I rest my case. Anyways, members of the Fifth Company gather to the scene, holding Shinra down, capturing the Infernal, and even knocking civilians to the side. The ill treatment of the civilians upsets Shinra, and he activates his abilities, challenging the entire Fifth Company by himself.
Captain Obi and the others catch up before a skirmish breaks out, and the two captains start negotiating who should retain the Infernal. After arguing that the 8th Company is small, without a research department, the 5th is allowed to take the Infernal on the grounds that all research discoveries are shared between the companies. Toru Kishiri of the 5th Company calls Obi a talentless nobody, infuriating Shinra and Arthur. Maki scores a humbling gut punch on the trash talker, and Hinawa approves.
Princess Hibana wants the Ace to stop sticking their noses too deep, but Obi replies that the fire within the 8 cannot be extinguished so easily. Princess Hibana and Iris have a bit of a stare down. Then Hibana scoffs and announces that the 5th Company is leaving and the episode ends.
If you'd like to follow, discuss with us, or support us, consider checking out our Twitter and Patreon pages.
Thanks for watching, guys. If you made it to the end, why not leave a like and subscribe? Please comment and let us know if you enjoyed this and what other anime is currently on your watch list. All our links are in the description. Until next time, guys.
Pusa? Pusa pusa?